Imagine building this state-of-the-art $1 million racing engine,
Yeah.
right? And then, you realize you completely forgot to install a steering wheel.
Oh, man. Yeah. The worst feeling.
Right. Well, according to a highly classified tactical dossier sitting right in front of us, that might be exactly what one of the world's footballing heavyweights is doing heading into the 2026 World Cup.
It's wild. It really is.
Welcome, everyone, to a very special, high-stakes, live broadcast deep dive. We are coming to you directly on behalf of the Black Mambas for football and soccer.
Absolutely.
And we have to give a massive shout-out to the ultimate driving force behind this community, Etienne Newman. He's a senior software engineer and just a passionate soccer dad out of Calgary, Alberta.
Huge driving force, yeah.
So if you are joining us right now, settle in because, well, we have our hands on something incredibly rare today. It's an exclusive Phase 1 dossier detailing confirmed 2026 World Cup attacking units and official squad announcements as of late May 2026.
Yeah, and it is the kind of raw intelligence that usually, never sees the light of day before a tournament actually kicks off.
Right.
It completely recontextualizes how these teams are going to operate on the pitch, rather than how we just assume they will based on, well, past performance.
Exactly. And before we get into the actual tactics, we have to establish the ground rules for this live broadcast.
Oh, yes. Very important.
If you're looking at this dossier with us, you need to know this is strictly an open book exam.
Strictly.
That means we are relying solely on the pages right in front of us. No outside rumors, no historical assumptions about where a player used to play, and, well, no arguing with the text.
Yeah, no fighting the dossier today.
What is printed on this page is absolute law. If the document says a player is at a specific club, that is their club, period.
And, it's a brilliant constraint for our analysis, really. It forces us to strip away our preconceived notions.
Exactly.
We have to look at the bare reality of the tournament as it stands right this second. Because the global landscape has shifted massively, domestic club environments have transformed, and we need to understand not just who is playing, but specifically why their tactical profiles interact the way they do.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because looking at this dossier, it feels exactly like getting a peek at the opponent's playbook the night before the Super Bowl.
It really does.
Suddenly, the formations aren't just guesses, right? They're confirmed strategies. And our guiding question today is simple. Does sheer, unbridled individual flair win modern tournaments? Or is rigorous tactical structure the only way to survive?
That is the million-dollar question.
Right. To figure that out, we are starting at the top of the Phase 1 power rankings with the undisputed gold standards. France sitting at a 9.7 out of 10 rating, and Brazil right behind them at 9.5.
These are the heavyweights, but, what is crucial to understand is that they approach the game from entirely different tactical philosophies.
Very different.
They are both terrifying, but for completely different reasons.
Yeah, so let me read the confirmed French forward roster directly from the text, and I want you to listen to the club affiliations here because the depth is just, it's almost comical.
It's absurd.
We have Kylian Mbappé at Real Madrid, Ousmane Dembélé at Paris Saint-Germain, Marcus Thuram at Inter Milan,
Insane.
Randall Colomwani at Juventus, Michael Olise at Bayern Munich, Désiré Doué at Paris Saint-Germain, and Hugo Ekitike at Eintracht Frankfurt. When you read that out loud, it feels like they should just hand them the trophy now. Where is the flaw?
Right. Well, what's fascinating here is the sheer tactical flexibility that roster gives France. But it also creates this massive structural paradox.
So really, how so?
Because of the profiles you just listed, France can dominate in transition, meaning when they steal the ball, they can counterattack with devastating speed.
Right, with Mbappé and Dembélé.
Exactly. Or they can systematically break you down by holding on to the ball in structured possession. Mbappe is the centerpiece, Dembélé offers that elite one-on-one dribbling, and Olise brings precision passing from Bayern. But there is a glaring mechanical weakness hiding in plain sight here.
Which is what? Because I'm scanning this list and I see nothing but elite attacking power.
The number 9 role. The central striker position is entirely fluid.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. Thuram, Colomwani, and Ekitike are all exceptionally talented, but they offer vastly different styles of play. None of them has definitively locked down that central spot to become the singular focal point.
Right.
And tactically, when you don't have an anchor in the middle of the defense occupying the opposing center backs, well, those defenders are free to drift.
Which means they can gang up elsewhere.
Exactly. Because that central anchor is missing, France has a bad habit of becoming overly dependent on Mbappe.
Yep.
When their passing sequences stall against a team sitting deep, they panic, force the ball out wide to Mbappe, and just, expect him to dribble through 3 players.
I see. So if the central striker isn't forcing the defense to respect the middle of the pitch, the opponent just tilts their entire defensive block toward Mbappe. That naturally brings us to Carlo Ancelotti's Brazil at 9.5. Let me read their explosive roster here.
Yeah.
We've got Vinicius Jr. and Endrick, both at Real Madrid. Rafinha at FC Barcelona. Neymar at Santos.
Massive name there.
Yeah. Gabriel Martinelli at Arsenal. Matthias Cunha at Wolverhampton Wanderers. Igor Thiago at Brentford. And Luis Enrique at Zenit St. Petersburg. I have to admit, looking at this list, I want to test an analogy on you.
Go ahead, let's hear it.
Is Brazil's offense basically $1 million sports car with severely damaged alignment?
Oh, I like that.
Because you look at the wings, right, Vinicius and Rafinha, and you have the most incredible, untouchable speed and handling on the market.
Yeah.
But the dossier explicitly states their biggest question mark is central finishing consistency.
Yeah.
All their power's on the outside edges, but the center of the vehicle feels completely unstable.
The alignment analogy holds up perfectly, but it actually highlights the most critical variable for Ancelotti entering this tournament, which is Neymar. The dossier lists Neymar playing as a forward 10 at Santos. For the listener, a number 10 is the creative playmaker who operates in that little pocket of space between the opponent's midfielders and their defenders.
The engine room.
Exactly. Neymar is the alignment fix. He is the mechanic. If he is physically fit and match sharp in that specific role, he provides the essential creative passing that connects those lightning-fast wings to central finishers like Endrick or Cunha.
But if he isn't sharp, what happens then?
If Neymar isn't fully fit, that sports car veers wildly off the road the moment it hits heavy tactical traffic. Without that central playmaker, Vinicius and Rafinha are just sprinting up the sidelines without anyone to thread them the ball in dangerous areas.
And that puts an immense amount of pressure on Neymar's domestic form at Santos.
It really does.
Now let's pivot. If Brazil and France represent individual flair and raw explosiveness, the dossier's next 2 teams, England in 3rd at 9.0 and Germany in 4th at 8.9, represent rigorous, almost mechanical tactical architecture.
Yeah, this is where we shift from asking who has the fastest players to asking who has the smartest system.
So let's start with Thomas Tuchel's England squad. The confirmed forward list is rigidly structured. We have Harry Kane at Bayern Munich, Ivan Toney at Al Ahly, Ollie Watkins at Aston Villa.
So much structure there.
Yeah, and Bukayo Saka at Arsenal, Marcus Rashford at FC Barcelona, Anthony Gordon at Newcastle United, and Noni Madueke at Arsenal.
Tuchel's approach is a fascinating counterpoint to France's fluidity. He wants absolute structure. Harry Kane is the ultimate tactical reference point here.
How so?
Well, unlike the French strikers, Kane actively drops deep into the midfield. When he does that, he drags a central defender with him, which artificially creates empty space behind the defensive line.
Right, opening up the pitch.
Exactly. You then surround Kane with Saka's reliable crossing, Gordon's sheer sprinting pace, and Watkins making runs into that newly vacated space.
But the dossier points out a very specific vulnerability. It notes that England lacks technical creators in the middle of the pitch. If Kane is the one dropping deep to create the play, who is actually feeding him the ball when he stays forward?
And that is the structural flaw. If an opponent plays a compact midfield and successfully cuts off the passing lanes to Harry Kane, England's entire ability to move the ball up the center of the pitch completely breaks down.
Oh, wow.
Because they lack purely technical midfield playmakers, they're forced to just bypass the middle entirely. They end up kicking long balls out to the wings or launching crosses toward Ivan Toney, just hoping he can win a header. It becomes highly predictable and, well, in a World Cup, predictable gets you eliminated.
Well, here's where it gets really interesting. I am looking at Germany's roster right below England, and their setup is the exact opposite of predictable.
Very true.
Let me read off this German squad because the fluidity here is dizzying. We have Jamal Musiala at Bayern Munich, Florian Wirtz at Liverpool, Kai Havertz at Arsenal, Leroy Sané at Galatasaray.
Huge names.
Yeah. Denise Undav and Jamie Luling, both at VfB Stuttgart. Maximilian Barr at Borussia Dortmund, and Nick Woolpate at Newcastle United. Now, I have to push back against the hype here.
Okay, why is that?
Look at England. England has Harry Kane and Ivan Toney, absolute guaranteed elite volume goal scorers. The dossier explicitly says Germany lacks a guaranteed elite volume finisher.
It does say that, yes.
They don't have a pure dominant striker who just hammers the ball home when things get ugly. Isn't that a fatal flaw? Can Musiala and Wirtz really generate enough attacking superiority through passing alone to compensate for the fact that nobody in the center of the box is a pure killer?
If we connect this to the bigger picture, you have just isolated the exact reason why modern tournament football is so brutally unforgiving.
Really?
Yeah. Germany's philosophy is built on intelligent, interchangeable movement. Musiala and Wirtz operate as puppet masters, right? Constantly swapping positions to confuse defenders. But a World Cup is not a passing drill. You can possess the ball for 70% of the match, and you can weave these beautiful geometric passing triangles all the way up to the penalty area. But if you don't have a dedicated striker to actually kick the ball into the net under pressure, none of it matters.
You just end up passing the ball sideways around the penalty box until you lose it.
Precisely. If Undav, Baer, or Havertz cannot convert those chances when the pressure is suffocating, they will go home early. Germany relies on creating a massive volume of high-quality chances so that even if they miss a few, they still score. It's a high-wire act, whereas England relies on Kane needing only half a chance to score once.
Speaking of high-wire acts, segment 3 of this dossier moves us away from the heavyweights and introduces the absolute nightmare matchups of the tournament. The disruptors.
Oh, yes.
The fun.
These are the highly athletic, pressing-oriented teams. Senegal at 8.6, Japan at 8.4, and the United States at 8.2.
Yeah, if the top 4 teams want to play a game of chess, these 3 teams want to flip the chessboard entirely. Their goal is to dictate the physical tempo of the match and simply not let you breathe.
Let's examine Senegal's athleticism first. Their confirmed attackers are Sadio Mane at Al Nassr, Ismail Assar at Crystal Palace, Iliman Ndiaye at Everton, Habib Diallo at Metz, Nicholas Jackson at Chelsea, and Boulaïdia at Salernitana. Why are they rated so highly as a disruptive force?
Because they combine raw, terrifying pace with aggressive directness. Mané provides that veteran leadership, Sarr offers devastating speed on the wing, and Jackson is constantly running behind the defensive line.
Gotcha.
Tactically, they don't want to hold the ball for long periods. They want to intercept a pass in midfield and immediately sprint toward the goal before the opponent can organize their defenders.
But the dossier highlights a massive red flag, which is their finishing consistency against top-level opposition. If they play a team that refuses to leave empty space behind the defense, what happens?
That is the counter tactic. If you face Senegal, you drop your defenders deep toward your own goalkeeper. That removes the space for Sarr and Jackson to sprint into.
Oh, that makes sense.
Suddenly, Senegal is forced to try and pick intricate passes through a crowded penalty area, and historically, that is where their final decisive action breaks down. They struggle when they can't use their pure athletic advantage.
Which brings us perfectly to Japan's setup. The dossier calls them a chaos engine.
A great term for them.
Right. Their rapid front line includes Kaoru Mitoma at Brighton and Hove Albion, Takefusa Kubo at Real Sociedad, Ayasu Ueda at Feyenoord, Daisen Maeda at Celtic, Kyogo Furuhashi at Rennes, Kito Nakamura and Junya Ito, both at Reims. Help me understand how this chaos engine actually functions on the pitch.
Well, Japan's entire tactical identity is built on pressing intensity. Imagine opposing defenders trying to calmly pass the ball out from their goalkeeper. Suddenly, Daisen Maeda is sprinting at them at full speed, forcing a rushed pass.
Right.
Mitoma and Kubo then intercept that rushed pass and immediately attack. They are elite at progressing the ball up the pitch through organized chaos.
But the dossier clearly notes their vulnerability against low block defenses.
Yeah.
And for anyone listening, a low block is when a team basically parks a wall of 10 players inside their own penalty box and refuses to come out. Why does Japan struggle there?
Because when a team parks that wall of 10 defenders, you can't just run past them. You usually have to cross the ball into the air over their heads. And Japan's front line lacks physical aerial dominance. Yeah, if the penalty area is crowded with 6'3", highly physical center backs, Japan struggles to win those aerial duels to finish their chances. They can build up beautifully, but they hit a brick wall at the final hurdle.
It is the classic struggle of trying to pick a lock when someone has jammed the keyhole.
Exactly.
Finally, let's round out the power rankings with Mauricio Pochettino's United States squad. The U.S. forward list is locked in. Christian Pulisic at AC Milan, Folarin Balogun at Monaco, Ricardo Pepi at PSV Eindhoven, Tim Way at Juventus, Haji Wright at Coventry City, and Alejandro Zendejas at Club America.
Pochettino has a very dynamic front line here, but it requires perfect synchronization. Pulisic operates as the undisputed primary creator.
Right.
Bologn's job is to make smart, darting runs behind the defense. Pepe serves as the pure box finisher, and Way provides explosive width on the flank to stretch the defense sideways.
Let me throw another analogy at you. I look at this U.S. setup, and it feels like a basketball team that relies entirely on a star point guard to run the floor.
It's a solid comparison.
The dossier specifically warns that the U.S. can become far too dependent on Pulisic to orchestrate every single attack. Tactically speaking, if I am an opposing manager, I just double-team Pulisic. If I lock him down and break his rhythm, doesn't the rest of the team just end up standing around waiting for a pass that is never going to come?
Yeah, that's the fear.
Will Balogun or Pepe actually be able to generate their own high-pressure finishing if Pulisic isn't serving it to them on a silver platter?
That is the defining existential question for the United States. If you double-team Pulisic, the tactical rhythm shatters. Someone else has to step up and become the alpha creator in the final third.
But can they?
Can Way take on two defenders himself? Can Balogun drop deeper to link up play? Historically, when Pulisic is neutralized, the U.S. struggles to find a secondary engine.
Okay, we need to drastically shift our focus. While we have been deep in the tactical weeds of the attacking dossier, breaking news has just crossed our desk from BBC Sport regarding official 26-man squad announcements.
Oh, this is huge.
And there is a massive seismic shockwave coming out of Spain.
This is the kind of roster news that completely destabilizes an entire nation's media narrative right before a tournament.
I'm reading this directly from the BBC update. Spain's coach, Luis de la Fuente, has officially named his 26-man World Cup squad. And for the first time in history, it features absolutely zero Real Madrid players.
Zero. It blows my mind.
He has completely left out defenders Dean Huijsen and Dani Carvajal. De La Fuente went on the record saying, "I don't look at one club or another. I don't have that local bias a fan might have. For me, it's more global."
This raises an important question about the delicate balance between squad harmony and strict meritocracy. De La Fuente is sending an incredibly aggressive message to the Spanish football establishment here.
Totally.
The BBC article explicitly notes that Real Madrid did not win a trophy this season and finished 8 points behind the La Liga champions Barcelona. By dropping Carvajal and Huijsen, he is publicly prioritizing current tactical form over historical club prestige.
But the backlash is going to be immense. Let me read the players he did include, because it is fascinating. He brings in 18-year-old Lamine Yamal from Barcelona, despite the fact that the text clearly states Yamal tore his left hamstring in April and missed the final month of the season.
A massive risk.
He brings in Nico Williams from Athletic Bilbao, who has also been struggling with a hamstring problem. And then there's this massive Premier League contingent.
Yeah, that Premier League reliance is the most telling detail about how Spain's physical identity is changing. La Liga is traditionally highly technical, whereas the Premier League is intensely physical and fast-paced.
Exactly. He calls up Mikel Merino from Arsenal, who only just returned from a 4-month absence due to a stress fracture in his foot. Merino is joined by 6 other Premier League players, his Arsenal club mates David Raya and Martin Zubimendi, Pedro Porro from Tottenham, Marc Cucurella from Chelsea, Rodri from Manchester City, and Jeremy Pino from Crystal Palace.
Wow.
He also calls up uncapped defenders Eric Garcia from Barcelona and Marc Pubil from Atletico Madrid. De La Fuente says he wants excitement and passion. But let me challenge this strategy.
Okay.
Is completely alienating the fan base of Spain's most famous, most powerful club a brilliant psychological masterstroke to create an us-against-the-world mentality inside a locker room?
Mm-hmm.
Or is starting an 18-year-old with a torn hamstring over a healthy Real Madrid veteran a catastrophic recipe for disaster if they lose their opening game?
It is the ultimate double-edged sword. If Spain comes out playing dynamic, fluid football and wins their group, De La Fuente is hailed as a visionary who finally broke the political wheel of Spanish football.
Right.
But if they stumble, if the Premier League players look disconnected from the Barcelona players, the media pressure from the Madrid press will be absolutely relentless. He is betting his entire career on his specific system functioning perfectly from minute one.
So what does this all mean? We've covered a staggering amount of ground today. We started by dissecting the terrifying depth of France and how their lack of a true number 9 forces everything onto Mbappe.
Yep.
We analyzed Thomas Tuchel's meticulously structured England and contrasted it with Germany's dizzying strikerless passing webs. We debated Ancelotti's unbalanced Brazilian sports car, and now we are staring at De La Fuente's incredibly controversial Real Madrid-less Spain squad. On paper, looking strictly at this dossier, this tournament is as tactically diverse as I have ever seen it. But as we know, World Cup games are not won on spreadsheets.
No, they are won in the unpredictable moments of chaos on the pitch. And, I want to leave you with a final thought to really mull over as you digest this dossier.
Let's hear it.
Look at the massive tectonic club shifts we have discussed over the last 15 minutes. We are talking about Marcus Rashford playing his domestic football at FC Barcelona, Florian Wirtz operating at Liverpool, Randal Kolo Muani at Juventus, Leroy Sané at Galatasaray, Nick Woltemade at Newcastle United. How will these fresh, wildly different domestic tactical experiences alter the chemistry of these national teams?
That is a phenomenal point. I mean, if you spend a year in the Premier League, you learn to play at 100 miles per hour. If you spend a year in La Liga, you learn patience and technical possession.
Precisely. When a player spends a year in a completely new domestic system, learning a completely different footballing language, it rewires their brain. Are we underestimating how a player's new club environment will fundamentally alter their attacking instincts when they put on their national team jersey? Does a Barcelona-trained Marcus Rashford make different runs for England than a Manchester United-trained one?
We are going to find out very soon. I want to sincerely thank you, the listener, for tuning in and navigating this complex tactical landscape with us today. A massive, massive shout out to Etienne Newman and the entire Black Mambas for football and soccer community in Calgary.
Yes, huge shout out.
Keep the passion alive. We opened this highly classified playbook today. We read the exact tactical alignments of the world's absolute best, and now, well, all that is left is for the whistle to blow. Stay curious, keep analyzing, and we will see you on the Twitch.